Welcome in. Tuesday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you this morning. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio. We'll talk about what Lane Kiffin had to say yesterday during his weekly press conference. Later on in the day, Hugh Freeze speaking as well after I think Lane probably alluded to Freeze with one or two of his answers yesterday. So all that, probably some NFL stuff, some other college football stuff, and more here with you this morning. Blue Sky all over Mississippi. We're proud sponsor of us for over a decade now. Ben, David, their family, all critical Blue Sky locations, including here in Oxford with the Oxford Exxon. You've got the Sweet Daddy's locations all over the state of Mississippi. So whether it's a lunch special today, whether it is ribs, pulled pork, side items, and more, either for the game or just in general, taking care of dinner with all the kids and activities and things going on, let them help you out with food, fuel, and much more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop it around, or you can do what I've done multiple times, and that is hop into a Clark Ford today. Corey and the people at Clark Ford want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. You'll find out what that means. It means they want to give you great service. They want to have a long-term relationship with you. Corey's not going to put a bunch of pressure on you. He's going to give you a quote. He's going to tell you what you're looking for, help you find what you're looking for, and then the rest is up to you. 662-257-1900. Guests join throughout the week on the Campbell Clinic hotline, from fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions. The pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi, providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
So, I don't know. Get started with a little bit of college football. Again, Lane Kiffin speaking, and then Hugh Freeze speaking. Neal shaking his head for anyone not in our.
I'm not even.
In
I
our
keep getting
video.
people go, "Are you surprised?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not surprised. I'm not remotely surprised."
I think I was not surprised. It was what I expected. I think I was hopeful there would be some semblance of tone change yesterday, just after all of the flack, because he sees it in real time.
I know he sees it.
Well, we're aware of that, and I guess I just thought at some point does a different head prevail?
No,
and the answer is no.
The answer is no. Two things. He surrounds himself with yes men. I mean, look, I'm not being personal with this. I don't care. I watched him walk off the field at halftime Saturday, and I saw some of the people around him, and I was like, oh, I get it. There's no one around him in his inner circle who goes, hey, man, stop. No one. And then he can't do anything like about a Kirk Sampson over there. I mean, Kirk's been there for a long time, been there before Hugh Freeze. Probably will be there after Hugh Freeze. I have to believe that people like Kirk are like, hey, coach, you got to chill. But he doesn't know how. It's always, everything is about him. It's his problem. He's a narcissist. There's no other word for it. It's about him. And he doesn't understand why everyone doesn't love him. He doesn't understand why everyone doesn't go, when they win, oh, my God, coach, you did it. And when they lose, they don't go, God, coach, you'd win if just the people around you would just do what they're supposed to do. It's a sports game. It's a sports ball game. People make mistakes in sports ball games. People drop balls in sports ball games. People make bad throws in sports ball games. Jackson Dart the other day threw an interception. It was open for a touchdown. What happened? He made a bad throw. Yeah. Well, if you throw a ball enough times, you'll make a bad throw. Shohei Ohtani sometimes strikes out in sports ball games. And so here we are. And it's not surprising to me in the least. And the guy is doing right now what I've always said this. I'll say it again because I think it's so – I get a lot of shit wrong, pardon my language. I got this one right. Had he had the opportunity to coach the 2017 Ole Miss football team, they were going to quit on him. It was going to be an abject disaster. He was disliked in the locker room. He had lost their respect. They didn't really want to play for him. He put them on probation. They took the bowl game away. Then he got fired. And Matt Luke, who they did respect. You can think what you want to think about Matt Luke as a coach, whatever. Up to you. The following is not debatable. The kids loved him. The kids played for him. They fought for him. But had Hugh Freeze coached that team, and it may have been the best thing for him to realize this doesn't work like this. But now he's, 4 games in? There's a lot of football left in this season. And he's on the verge, I would guess, of losing that football team.
4 games in, got a weird game against Oklahoma, obviously an underdog here coming up this weekend. And it happens for lots of reasons and has been happening and will continue to happen. We kind of got our inboxes flooded, Twitter flooded with mentions when he was talking last night during, is it Tiger Talk? Is that the name of their show?
Yeah.
And I saw it, and it's comical in the dark humor way that it's what you expect and where you knew he was going to go and the doubling down and whatever. I'll be completely honest. I also was a little deflated because I wasn't necessarily in the mood to talk about Hugh all day again today, and I was kind of like, "Damn it, Hugh, could you not just be normal?" And the answer is no, we can't. So that's where we are, and it's a very relevant topic, and it's relevant because Lane Kiffin was completely on his game earlier in the day yesterday.
Yeah, that was completely directed at Hugh Freeze.
100%.
Actually, it was directed at Deuce Knight.
Well, good point. Yes.
It wasn't really directed at Hugh Freeze. It was directed at Deuce Knight.
So we'll go in chronological order. That's how we'll do it. Lane Kiffin, by the way, had one of his better Monday press conferences in a long time yesterday, all the way around. He was engaged. It was a little more lengthy. He was good. But the question.
It was long.
The press conference?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's okay. People were working on different stories, and so that led to stuff.
Yeah. Was asked about Jackson Dart and his relationship with Jackson Dart. I do not have the question verbatim, but that was the setup for what the question was. And
it's about how their relationship has evolved.
Yes. And Lane's answer verbatim. I'll just read the whole thing. I got time. We're just hanging out. I think Jackson's a wonderful person. I think he treats people really well. I think he spends a lot of time with his teammates, a lot of times with a lot of time with kids around here, including my own son and nephew. So it's just a really great family, great person. I think it's that relationship. I just think from on the field, there's a trust level there. You know, we spend a lot of time with him and then let him play too on Saturdays. And I just think, like you said, it started one way. I think that you build that, especially for a guy we didn't really recruit out of high school and any of that, didn't have a previous relationship. I think it pays off, you know, when you have relationships and the quarterback trusts you too, you know. Go back to Matt Corral and when he threw 6 interceptions before I even got to the media, sitting down with him, telling him, we got to do a better job calling plays. I got to coach better, and don't worry, we got your back. And so I think it goes a long way, and it goes a long way with kids in recruiting, knowing what they're going to get when they get here with that relationship and that they can trust that you are going to have their back. Lane Kiffin yesterday.
Yeah.
It was an honest answer. It was an accurate answer.
I mean, it
was also a very directed answer.
He was trolling, but he was trolling in a way that is effective trolling in which you're speaking truth. You know, there's some elements left out of that. I mean, he brought in Spencer Sanders. I mean, he brought in Spencer Sanders. I mean, it's when people say, you know, what's one of the stories you really wish you could get into that you could get the truth on is the Spencer Sanders recruiting in January.
Why, how, and what happened?
Yeah, January of 23. That'd be a fascinating story. But, you know, Jackson's relationship with him has evolved. I don't think in November of 2022 it was particularly good. And I think it's pretty good now. And Lane's changed a lot. But, you know, what he says about Matt Corral's true. That day against Arkansas, a lot of people in the Ole Miss sphere wanted boy wonder, John Rice Plumlee. And I don't mean that in a negative way towards John Rice, but people viewed John Rice as they loved him. And there were some media outlets on our beat that because of John Rice and his being a Mississippian and all that stuff, they were very much pro him. And Corral had a bad day that day. Barry Odom had a great scheme for him and got him. It's what happened. And Lane's telling the truth. He did. Before he talked to the media that day, he said, hey, you're the guy. We got to play better. I mean, shit. Can't throw 6 picks a day. Not going to win many games throwing 6 picks. But you're the guy. We're going to get through this. And then to the media, he told us, hey, I got to call a better game. We put him in some bad spots. Gave credit to Arkansas. He did. Credited Barry Odom that day. Barry's a really good coach. Think what you want to think. He's done a hell of a job at UNLV. He's an excellent defensive coordinator. Sometimes in sports ball, the other team tries too. And sometimes you just get beat. Sometimes you just lose. And Lane did it. He said he gave credit to that. But he didn't throw Matt Corral under the bus. He didn't. Could have, but he didn't. And it was a shot at Hugh Freeze, who just took Peyton Thorne and Hank Brown, put them down on the ground, tied them down with stakes, and just rolled the train over and back, over and back, over and back. And then goes, hey, you guys, hop up. You're my guy. Let's go get it. I mean, it's a hell of a note.
And now, and then basically 48 hours later, no change, same message, everything completely their fault. And we're talking to the fans now who are also pissed at him over this. I mean, again, this goes all the way up and down. So the quote that got this whole thing started, but it was not the only thing he said in this vein last night, was, quote, I love Sam Pittman, and I hope he wins the rest of his games, but I'm telling you the hard truth is if we play them 9 more times, we beat them 9 more times. That's what is hard to take.
I mean, I don't even know where to start. Number one, that is remarkably disrespectful to Sam Pittman and to the Arkansas program. It is.
No, he loves him. No.
It's
that's the ultimate, hey, no offense, but you're an asshole. Like, that is... Tom Mars even jumping in this morning.
But let's go back. Let's go back to this. I want to go back to this. I'm not ready for Tom Mars yet.
You're not? Okay.
No. Number one, I watched that game. I don't agree with that sentiment. I think if those two teams played 10 times at Jordan-Hare, Arkansas wins more than once. Arkansas, if they don't have a missed field goal and a interception that Green threw, that's a blowout early. They dominated the first half of that game and only led 7-0. Could have easily led 10, 13-0. Arkansas, Auburn's one touchdown came on a busted coverage on a 4th down. The one that got them back in the game.
Yeah.
If they don't convert that 4th down right there, they get literally blown out. I disagree completely with that sentiment. And then number two, who says that? Well, you don't play them 10 times. You played them once.
Yeah, the dumb thing is simply saying it's not even about the minutia of the game. Now, look, would Auburn win some? Of course. Statistically, they won the game. Total stats. But it is so remarkably stupid in every way. Because, look, that's the point. You sort of dominated the football game, but you didn't have a freaking quarterback, which is your fault, not their fault.
I realize they dominated some stretches of the game, but they got dominated in stretches of the game.
I'm just talking statistically.
But the defensive coordinator at Arkansas is from Auburn. Played hard at Auburn had a long career. It was disrespectful to say that about Arkansas. It's disrespectful to Travis Williams. It is. It's disrespectful to Bobby Petrino. It's disrespectful to Sam Pittman. It's just full of disrespect. Of course, he doesn't respect anyone else. That's part of his problem. Yeah. He's a narcissist. He doesn't care what it does to what his words might do to other people. He couldn't care less. He never has cared. I love Sam Pittman, but I'm going to minimize his win. Screw you. What a stunningly selfish, narcissistic thing to say.
And knowing you're probably not ever going to coach against him again.
Yeah.
Knowing he's probably on the way out either way.
Yeah.
Because Hugh knows that.
Inside the industry, most people believe that Sam's going to step down at the end of the season.
Yeah, regardless of wins.
He's having a hard time moving around. But I'll tell you, here's the funny thing about it. Inside the coaching business, like I guarantee you, if you ask Lane Kiffin today, Sam Pittman, the person, Lane would tell you about how much it meant to him when Sam came up to him and told him, not in front of a microphone, but privately, hey, when I was a high school football player, your dad came into our locker room. Mm-hmm. Your dad, who I think at the time was the defensive coordinator at Arkansas, came into our locker room and talked to us and complimented us, and it's something that stuck with me to this day. That's what Lane would tell you about Sam. That's the difference. That's the difference. Sam Pittman would never have gone back to Fayetteville, and I don't know what the name of their show is. I don't know. He would have never said, well, if we could play them 10 more times, we'd get them. He wouldn't have said it. You know what he would have said? You know, it's on me. Thought we had our team ready, but obviously we didn't. We've got to play better. We've got to cut these turnovers out. We've got to put Talon in a better position.
Yeah, did some good things.
We've got to convert. We did some good things. Had some kids played really hard. That's what he would have said. Now, is a lot of that coach speaky stuff? Sure. But you know what else it is? It's protecting your players. Now, behind closed doors, might be a totally different deal where you call your quarterback into the room and you show him the mistakes and you go, these are not tolerable. But in front of the camera, in front of a microphone where everyone's listening, no, it's not what you say. And he doesn't. Hugh does.
That was one quote. Again, I don't have the other ones verbatim, but he goes on down the road after that to say that his scheme was, quote, beautiful and needs no changes. It was also last night. He let Hank Brown give input on the call sheet, and Brown threw a bad interception on his favorite call. Pointed that out last night. And said it was the quarterback's fault for not checking out of some bad runs, not the center's. So on every line of the thing, hammered Hank Brown last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if he goes back to Peyton Thorne on Saturday, you've made this decision, give him no leash, give him no margin on Hank Brown, and then you're going back to the other guy who we know can't do it. That's where you're sitting right now. Those are your options.
Shocking. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Thorne wasn't awful on Saturday.
I thought Thorne was pretty good.
I mean, 13 of 22, 213, threw one pick, but he threw 2 touchdowns.
No, it came in and played pretty well.
Yeah.
And the pick went off the receiver's hands.
Oh, you're just destroying the young kid.
Yeah.
Brown, who you tried to build up as your future, made decisions like he was your future.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're just decapitating him.
Yeah. And I don't know Hank Brown, but I'm going to guess he has a mom and dad. Wonder how that's going over. I don't know Hank Brown, but I'm going to assume he has a high school football coach that likes him. I'm going to assume that Hank Brown has family somewhere, siblings. I don't know. I don't know him. He seems like a nice young man. And you just slashed him.
Yeah, he's going to cut him at the end of the year.
Yeah. Because of one bad half against Arkansas that you threw him into instead of the guy that you brought in out of the portal and you made the quarterback all year. It's totally on Hugh Freeze. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. But I'm going to tell you what Bo Wallace said resonated. It was the most viewed story in The Athletic yesterday.
What was it?
You don't think that the other coaches around the country had that one clipped?
But Deuce Knight got that one.
In spades.
Yeah, not from one person.
Oh, no. No, Ole Miss isn't the only other school recruiting him. You don't think Marcus Freeman probably showed that to Deuce Knight? I'm going to guess he did, or someone at Notre Dame did. So, interesting.
Yeah, most clicked yesterday. Bo Wallace's screed against former Ole Miss coach and current Auburn head man Hugh Freeze.
Thought it was interesting that some of the Alabama media tried to almost kind of attack Wallace. It's just part of the deal over there.
You protect Auburn because you need it to be a thing.
Yeah, they need to. Hey, well, you said this in November, and you said, okay, I mean, great,
Forest and trees and whatnot.
but you're ignoring the story. What's his motivation? I don't know what is his motivation. Who cares? I mean, you don't see Brock Vandegrift ripping Kirby Smart.
Some pro Hugh Ole Miss people who basically said he wouldn't hire Bo, and that's why Bo got mad.
Okay, let's go down that road. Let's just say there's some truth to that.
It doesn't change what Bo said.
Doesn't change anything.
Not even a little bit. So. All right, I'll go into Tom Mars and all some other stuff here in a second on that. First, you've had Wendy's Nugs dipped in sauce, but if you had them covered in sauce, Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, or if you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you've never nugged before for a whole new way to nug. It's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. We're brought to you by Window Hero. Window cleaning, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, gutter guards, everything in between. Window Hero has the experience, equipment, and expertise to make your property look and feel brand new. Leaves are starting to fall, and that means they're going to get in your gutters. They're going to get your gutters clogged. If you're not, if you have a second property up here, as a lot of people do, you're not here every day to maintain it. You don't want those gutters to get completely backed up, and then there's the big rain that comes. So call Window Hero. Get ahead of that. Get everything looking great. They'll take care of you. 662-510-7077. Or go to windowhero.com. Dead Soxy will have a pop-up set up outside of Vaught Hemingway Saturday morning. It's between the pavilion and the stadium on the side closest to campus. So check them out. Check out their sockscription service. They'll have special deals. You can get the latest in the socks from our friends at Dead Soxy. It's deadsoxy.com. I have a report yesterday. I'll have another one today, brought to you by Southern Q Sauce Craft Barbecue Sauce. Southern Q Sauce, crafted by hand in small batches to capture that tangy, sweet, smoky taste with just enough heat. They also have a variety of rubs. I'm starting to get kind of partial to the clucker. It's absolutely fantastic on chicken. They have other rubs as well. So whether you're a professional pitmaster or an occasional backyard chef, Southern Q Sauce has the sauces and rubs to have your friends and family coming back for more. Check it out for yourself at southernqsauce.com. Use the discount code Rebel Grove for 15% off your order. Brought to you by Rustic Revivals. Based out of Flowood, Mississippi, Rustic Revivals builds tables and other furniture by hand with locally sourced lumber. The husband and wife team of Josh and Ashley Pierce specialize in custom-ordered tables, beds, dressers, coffee tables, bookshelves, decorative cabinets, and chairs. They deliver within 250 miles of Flowood. All pieces are sealed for protection. You get 10% off your purchase just by using the code REBELS10, or tell them when you call, REBELS10. It's rusticrevivalsms.com. You can check them out on Facebook, on Instagram. You can also call them directly, 228-217-1243. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego Wealth Management, specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan, whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere. Schedule a free discovery meeting. See what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com.
So let's see. Tom Mars, who obviously is not an impartial observer of this situation. I mean, no offense to Coach Freeze, but mathematically speaking, if Auburn played Arkansas 9 more times, that would mean Hugh could blame the quarterback he's responsible for developing for 36 more interceptions. That was Mars' take this morning.
I don't think Mars and Freeze are not.
That's what I was saying.
fans
It's
of one
not
another.
exactly that was not coming from a neutral place in the beginning, but still doesn't mean he's wrong in the process either from that standpoint. I think Lane was very excited just to play somebody this week.
Ain't no doubt.
He was honest. He was engaged. His answer, I guess I have it here. I could read it, but it's kind of boring to read a bunch of answers. His answer about he hoped practice prepared them was illuminating.
I thought it was. I thought it was enlightening.
Yeah.
Shows you that he knows they've played nobody.
He gets that there's nothing about those first 4 teams that, from a link, size, speed standpoint, stress them in any way.
Nothing.
So he hopes going up against Walter Nolan every day helped instead.
Yeah.
And it did.
Yeah. It's why, like, I saw there was a thread on our board, and I get it. I don't, I'm not arguing with people when they do this. They're like, right now, Tennessee's the media darling. It's like, well, yeah, but they've played a couple of interesting games. They went to Oklahoma, played on the road. You can go, Oklahoma sucks. Maybe they do. We'll see. But they have kind of done something. It's not that Ole Miss is getting disrespected. It's just people are kind of waiting for Ole Miss to play somebody. It's become a month now of, all right, you played a really bad team and you beat the ever-living hell out of it. Okay. Yeah, I thought Lane had a new energy yesterday because, okay, goodness, finally, we're going to play somebody that they have players.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't faced a wide receiver yet. I've heard someone in the media try to hype up this on the local media in the room before.
Hype up who?
One of the wide receivers at Wake Forest. And it's all I can do not to turn around and go, oh, for God's sake. But I get it. Just trying so hard. Look, hey, it's going to play out. You're going to play Kentucky, South Carolina, and LSU over the next
3 weeks.
19 days.
And if you're 3-0 at the end of it, you'll get all your flowers.
Yeah. I mean, the flowers are going to come. I mean, frankly, I think I wrote this the other day. I mean, I would put Ole Miss, if I had a vote, I would put Ole Miss 4th. But if you put Ole Miss as low as 7th or 8th, I'm cool with it. I get it. I mean, I do. I'm okay. That's fine. If you go, well, they just haven't played anybody. It's a valid argument. No one's Lane's not disputing that. He's like, no, I mean, those teams didn't get us ready for SEC play. They didn't. He doesn't even try. This tells you a lot. But then he says, but I think we're ready for it because we play against each other.
I think G-Man actually is proving our point. He says, who's Ohio State played devil's advocate? Well, nobody, but they're also not all over the media with everybody going, wow, Ohio State's amazing. They've just stayed where they are.
Right.
I think we're in the SEC, so we're inundated with this SEC media convergence every minute.
Yeah.
To where you're seeing the team that week is getting the pub for the publicity.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Ohio State is anybody's going, hey, they're about to go win the Galactic Championship. It's going, yeah, they're just beating the hell out of teams. Okay, well, they're there.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss hasn't dropped in the polls from a point standpoint. Tennessee passed them because they beat Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's all. And they stayed where they were in the coaches' poll.
Yeah.
So
it's fine. I mean,
frankly,
Tennessee got rewarded for winning a road game at night in Norman.
And if Ole Miss beats Kentucky by the spread on Saturday, they're probably going to hop back over Tennessee on Monday.
Probably so.
And those two teams are just going to do this thing for a little while.
It just doesn't matter.
No, I don't think the Braves make the playoffs. My guess is no.
I have no idea.
If they do.
I don't even know where they stand.
They're like 2 back with 6 to go, maybe. I could be one off, but I think
know.
that's.
I mean, I'll pull it up.
I think that's right.
I've never watched less baseball. Almost to the point where it's almost kind of depressing. Because I used to really like it. And like the playoffs are going to roll around and I'm not going to be aware of any of the storylines.
It's more of a media take, I think, than anything that there's been this 1.5 back, your mom says. Not literally Judy. Sorry. The username.
I was like, my mom? Atlanta's 1.5 back in the wild card.
Had Judy been the one in the stream to pull out that they were a 1.5 back, you'd have been really surprised this morning.
Stunned. The Mets have a half game lead over Arizona, who have a 1.5 game lead over Atlanta in the National League. Dodgers are clinched. Phillies are clinched. Brewers have clinched.
Okay. So you're just anybody but Brewers at this point?
I don't even care.
You don't even have your hatred inside the division anymore?
No.
What if it were the Birds and the Bat?
I probably could make myself hate them. But I don't really hate the Brewers. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they win. They're doing something right. Credit to them. Tip your hat and all that stuff. I don't know that I'm interested enough. Like, maybe when I'm sitting in a hotel room in Columbia next weekend or Baton Rouge the weekend after that, and it's on, maybe I'll get into a game. I don't know. We'll see.
But my point I was making is I think some of this is it's what we talk about all the time is you get a narrative and it's so hard to change it. So you have to beat the hell out of it because you can't say you were wrong in any way.
Yeah.
Is Tennessee is getting so much pub this week because frankly, the media underrated them going into the season. So suddenly it's this amazing shock when we've been talking about the whole time. No, they can make the playoff. They're right there. It seemed right in front of my face.
You're singing my song.
I know, but I'm like, no. Like, had you just not been dumb on the front end, we wouldn't be doing this overreaction on the back end. That's kind of where we're
not even dumb, just wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes you miss it. I mean, people predict stuff all the Colts drafted Anthony Richardson with the 4th pick in the draft. It happens.
They did.
People get stuff wrong. They just do.
And
I'm actually staying in Hammond, Avery. There are nice hotels in Baton Rouge, but it's not worth spending the money on for me.
I always stay at some Hilton property right off Constitution. It's kind of like my little area right there. That's fine.
I've stayed there multiple times.
It's an Embassy or a DoubleTree or something.
I think it's a
and
Homewood
it's fine.
Suites.
Okay.
There's also an Embassy Suites.
Okay.
I've stayed there a bunch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And then we were asked earlier, I did flip on Josh Pate's show for a minute the other night just because I was curious what he was saying, but he was talking about Michigan and SC. I don't know why he would say Hugh Freeze was taking out of context because Hugh Freeze was not taking out of context in any way whatsoever. It's just wrong.
It's just Josh's deal, I think, a little bit as he defends coaches and stuff because he gets a tremendous amount of access.
His show has, I like him. I guess I'm being critical, but I'm not being personal. His show has gotten worse because of his pandering to the coaches lately. It's gotten way harder, and it's like,
yeah, I don't mean this disrespectfully. I literally, I've never really watched.
Yeah, there's a lot of he's kind of trapped in a 1998 college football world a little bit. Traditional powers are traditional powers are traditional powers, no matter what. And there's a lot of it reminds me of, again, one of my friends. It reminds me of Kendall a little bit with baseball, where every coach is really trying and doing their best, and we can't criticize.
Yeah.
And it's kind of where that's trended lately, it seems.
Well, it's
complicated.
It's complicated when you view your job as dependent upon access. You do have to be careful. And frankly, there's a job security in that. If you blow up everybody that you cover, well, the access is going to get limited. Then you have to change your model. And his model's worked for him right now because he gets access on these campuses. The coaches stop what they're doing and they come on his show for 45 minutes. And he's gotten where he's set up at media days and all of the coaches make an appearance. Well, not everybody's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. It's sometimes things are complex. So I get it.
It's a good case study because your curiosity is, do your number, and maybe they do. Maybe it blows up. I have no idea. Do your numbers change as you change your way you go about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's what's kind of fascinating as time goes on with that. But anyway, I don't know. That was just sort of thought there. I tell you why I thought that. Couple things. Lane gave considerable thought to some questions in a lot of weeks yesterday. He would have sort of just answered.
Big Ben makes a good point.
Yeah.
About Josh.
That's that.
He says Josh, he likes him as a college football, nothing but college football guy. That's his thing. He's not going to deviate off of it. And there are people that's what they like.
A lot
of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the reasons I'm wildly unpopular with a lot of people is that I kind of don't do that. And it bugs people. So he's able to stay in that lane in a way that I don't think I could. I mean, I think if I consciously tried to do it, I couldn't do it. Anyway, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're fine. I was just kind of looking around. I was just saying, even questions like, because I thought Lane pulled an answer out of a question that was just kind of okay yesterday, which was what is it specifically about Kentucky or SEC teams that were going to be so different? And the answer is everything.
Yeah.
And in my head, as that question was being asked, I was kind of like, oh, it's literally everything. And Lane gave it thought and an answer that was very usable at that point. And I think depending on Lane's mood, you wouldn't have gotten that level of answer to that question. But yesterday he was locked in and
he was energized. He was ready to go. Like, I mean, I like the question about quarterback relationships felt planted.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it was planted. And yet, even as the answer came, I was like, I don't even blame him. I mean, you wanted to make sure you got to that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was someone was going to have to ask you about that to get there. So,
because it'd been hard just to go there.
And it showed me that he was itching to go there. And then he was kind of engaged in general because, look, you watch Kentucky on film and they got defensive linemen who can play in this league.
They're good defensively. They're really good defensively.
They've got 2 receivers that could play in this league, 2 guys that would play for other teams in this league. They're not particularly good up front, which is a concern for Kentucky. If you talk to Kentucky people, I talked to Justin Rowland. We've got 5 questions coming out tomorrow morning. You'll hear him on MPW Digital Extra Thursday. He says Vandegrift's, quote, struggles, he thinks, are really more about offensive line than they are the kid himself, which makes sense. I mean, he was a heavily recruited player. They've got running backs who can play in this league. They've got DBs who can play in this league. Kentucky has been very stingy on defense. So I think Lane looks at the film and kind of gets excited. Like, as I asked him the other day, are you sort of excited, eager to see this team that you are talking about as potentially being elite play SEC competition? And his answer was yes. Absolutely. I think they look forward to going on the road to South Carolina. Find out who you are. You're going to face some adversity at some point, so you might as well get to it. It's like I asked.
There's 8 games to play. Let's get out. Let's go ahead and figure it out.
It's like I asked Juice Wells yesterday. I'm like, I'm sure ideally you'd love to beat 16 teams the way that you've beaten these 4 and just cruise to the championship, but it's probably not going to work that way. So at some point, you're going to play somebody. I mean, you are. And so be ready or not. You'll find out. And I think they're there. I thought his energy was indicative of that yesterday. I think they had another game against Middle Georgia, Furman State. I think he would have been ready to walk out of the room about the time they walked in it.
Yeah, Kentucky, this is going to be their 3rd conference game.
Yeah.
They had a front-loaded schedule. And now, I think Ole Miss is going to win the game on Saturday. I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up for the post-game show. Calm down if they win by 11 instead of 20. They won the game. Just survive in advance.
Who you kidding?
You're in the top 6 or whatever. Just survive in advance and calm down.
That ain't happening.
Oh, no. I mean, I think if you completely
Speaking for the
out
collective, and I don't mean the Grove collective. I mean the collective.
I think if you just completely played out the Georgia-Kentucky game and they win by 1, there would be sheer panic in the room afterwards.
You think there will be panic?
Yeah.
Look, they've just beaten 4 teams by 8 gazillion points. Anything that's not an absolute blowout is going to cause some panic. Now, it'll calm down over time, but Saturday, if it's not a blowout, will be panic. Because people will do the transitives thing. Oh, my God, this team lost by 25 points to South Carolina, and we only won by 10?
So to go that way, not, hey, we would beat Georgia by 9?
No.
It won't go that. Only the other way?
And then there's that subset of fandom that wants the respect and is going to know, well, if we only beat Kentucky by 10, it's not going to be – we're not going to get this barrage of respect tomorrow.
Just have more points than Kentucky. Stay healthy and get the hell out of there. Your next week's your more difficult game.
Oh, listen. Next week's an interesting contest.
It's not a gimme on the schedule.
I mean, I think Ole Miss wins, don't get me wrong, but it's interesting. By the way, that game 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern.
Yeah, I was looking at the game times to pull up right now while we're doing this.
On behalf of all media, I would like to cover Ole Miss that are going to the game. I would like to thank the people at ESPN, thank the people at the SEC for your cooperation. On behalf of everyone who also has a 6 a.m. flight on Sunday, I would like to, again, thank everyone who made this possible.
So the predictions were pretty correct from the show yesterday.
We nailed it.
Yeah. Missouri, Texas A&M, 11 a.m. on ABC. We already knew that one. Auburn, Georgia, that's always a day game or typically a day game. It's 2:30 on ABC.
You know what that showed you? It's two things. One, right now Georgia gets a lot of eyeballs. And two, the traditional rivalries that have always gotten
their
people,
slot.
They just get it. And the reason they get it, and fans don't like this, and I understand why they don't, but they get it because the TV people look at it from a risk standpoint and go, people are accustomed to this game being a big national game.
And it's now my one not even really contrarian point on this, because I told Michael and he just kind of nodded and agreed and didn't even really argue it, is it's a little bit of confirmation bias because we always put those in great time slots. Mm-hmm. Then we go, see, they get numbers. And it's like Vanderbilt, Kentucky would have gotten numbers at 2:30 on ABC right there.
They don't know that.
I know, but you understand my point, though.
Sure, but I mean, I get where they're coming from.
Wow, look at that 6:30 number. Well, okay, but yeah.
But I get where they're coming from. I do.
ABC for that. Ole Miss and South Carolina, ESPN. So nothing on the Down Network there, just those two on ABC and ESPN. Alabama at Vanderbilt, as we expected, being hit a little bit on the SEC Network at 3:15 Central for a start time there.
Yeah.
If it happens to be a game in the second half, then you'll be able to catch the end staggered after the other two games. Tennessee and Arkansas is at 6 or 6:30 on ABC or ESPN, so you've got a national audience for that. And then they are putting UCF and Florida on the SEC Network at 6:45. Not a surprise either.
So they're going to put one on ABC or ESPN,
and the other one will not
just won't have anything. So ESPN will have. ABC will have the Love Boat instead.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. Is if ESPN doesn't have it, then they'll just go get another game from somewhere else.
Right.
I don't know what ABC would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what their other option for programming is.
Deal or no deal.
So is
Shark Tank.
So what are they doing? They're waiting to see if ABC is going to draw an audience, so you need Arkansas to win a game?
They probably would like to see Arkansas beat Texas A&M, where they'd be pretty excited up there if they're 4-1 with Tennessee coming to town, and Tennessee looks like a rolling ball of butcher knives. You could sell that. You could sell that. And God, that if everybody would cooperate, that would be an elite uniform game.
Arkansas, Tennessee.
Yeah, with Tennessee and the road whites. If they'll go white on white, and then Arkansas with the traditional red on white.
Yeah, there's something about
two really good helmets. I
like red, and I really like Arkansas's logo, but their uniforms never do much for me on their whole, and I don't know why. They just don't.
Oh, I love what they've done with they went to a different kind of like hog or whatever on the side, and it pops a little bit better. They added a third color to it, I think is what I heard.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
The big failure uniform-wise, and I tweeted about it on Saturday, was Missouri having great jersey, great stripes, and then wearing that dumb logo on the helmets instead of the Truman the Tiger on the helmets.
Yeah.
Because they have two different Truman the Tiger logos that are awesome.
I don't know why they don't embrace
And
it.
they went the weird Kansas State looking tiger thing,
Yeah, I don't know why they do
which
that.
looks like they should be in the MAC.
It does. It looks like
It is not an SEC logo.
It looks like a Toledo thing. I wish I could help people because I could really help people on the uniforms.
Wear the goofy looking logo that you have as your primary when you put the MAC looking script across the front of your jerseys, where Mizzou is kind of in that little sharp font thing. But when you go old school with the gold and the white and the good stripes and everything, put the freaking tiger on the side of the
Or
helmet.
an M.
Oh, that's true.
Just go with an M. It's fine. I love the tiger.
It's the tiger, because the M has the little bit of the sharp edges too that doesn't necessarily fit the font, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the issue there.
And I don't like when they put Mizzou on their jersey. I just don't like it.
Yeah, that's what I meant when it just says Mizzou across the front.
You don't need that.
We know who you are. It's fine.
I did think I thought Tennessee, Oklahoma was a huge, elite uniform game. God almighty, it was gorgeous. It was awesome.
Tennessee's white on white's great.
Tennessee, Oklahoma was, again, it spoke volumes for how Oklahoma should have been in the league a long time ago because it felt like an SEC game from the very start. There was no, wait, Oklahoma's, no, it was natural. Fit like a glove. And then the Arkansas, I thought the Arkansas-Auburn game from a uniform standpoint was spot on.
You mentioned this, and I think what he said, what he meant, but I think Lane was alluding pretty hard to getting some linemen back this week. He indicated that they would have a more of a rotation, even though they've already rotated a little bit beyond what they have in past seasons, and that probably is coming.
I think Scott's coming back. I wouldn't be surprised if
Warren came back.
Warren or Jeremy James came back.
And eventually, I still think we see Jerquan Scott at center or a lot.
I would think so. I would think so. I mean, Kentucky's got the kid at like D tackle's huge.
6'7", 340.
Yeah, 340, 350, and can move.
It's a problem.
I mean, he's a really good player.
Look, they really affected Georgia's mesh stuff on that Saturday. It was a mess.
Yeah, they blew it up.
Especially because Beck wasn't very quick and couldn't kind of get out of it. Wasn't a huge threat. And they dominated Georgia inside. They did a great job there with that. The quote that Lane gave regarding Glenn Boyce was that Boyce has been named to the NCAA Board of Governors. So Ole Miss's chancellor now on the, I guess, the main committee for the NCAA. They have 1,000 commissions and committees and whatnot. But
isn't it funny? All those committees, they always go to Scottsdale to meet. Nobody ever goes to like Topeka to meet.
Like I said, that was at Hampton Inn in Covington where the NCAA thing happened.
It was Embassy Suites, but yes.
Sorry. Okay.
But nobody ever goes to the Embassy Suites in Covington or the Charlotte Airport. No, you go to Scottsdale.
Dallas sounds great. Let's go spend a.
Did Zoom break?
We got an eCam link. We'll help you out.
Is there no? Did Microsoft Teams take the day off? Such a joke. We met for 4 days and got nothing done. Cool.
Well, I got some stuff done. Got a little tan. Got a few days off.
Oh, they're mad at us. We must have said something that made people
about
mad.
the uniforms?
I don't know. They said the two of us and Michael Thompson need to get a freaking room.
I wasn't defending it. I was saying I actually went back at him and went, yeah, but Michael, you. Yeah, it's not like he chose. I would like to also keep clarifying that.
I'm not defending it either, but I totally get it. You have a decision to make, and if you get it wrong, you're going to hear about it. And if you take the safe choice, it's understandable.
Chauncey probably makes a good point, too. Lane, a little more open on injuries because he has to file a report today. So anyway,
he was a little salty about that.
He doesn't like it.
Yeah, salty's not the right word. He was a little about it. Still haven't figured out how they're going to do it.
Did you read that to mean how honest do we have to be?
I think it means how honest do we have to be until the end.
Yeah. I get the one on Saturday morning's got to be fairly right, but what are we doing until then?
Yeah.
Your pulse isn't going up over this one?
No. Whatever. They're either going to play or they're not.
I tell you my last thing on this, and we'll move on to something else. I'll tell you my favorite answer to Lane yesterday, because when you break it down, it was like the dumb moment, but everything was done respectfully across the board. Is there something about Jaden Williams having great feet that's really appeal to you as a tackle? And he goes, yeah.
Yes.
We would love big men with great feet.
We are the only program that likes big, tall guys that can move. We're it. Shh. It's our secret.
Hey, Laramie was great on a basketball court. Did that help in your thought process and your evaluations of him coming out of high school? Yes, actually. Yeah.
Don't give it away that we like 6'6", 320 guys that can move their feet. Please don't tell anyone else. We're trying to keep that proprietary for a while. Yes, we like big, explosive defensive linemen who can blow up the offensive line on a consistent basis, but don't tell anybody about that, please.
Yeah. So,
there's a reason that Aaron Donald got paid what he got paid.
What he said, what he meant up at rebelgrove.com, as well as Lane Kiffin's press conference in video form yesterday. So if you'd like to check that out, those are there. So we'll be back in a second. First, it's Citizens Bank. You're not just an account number. You're a valued member of the community. Now, if you find yourself in the market for a mortgage, there's another reason to give them a try. Whit Wilson, who many of you know in the mortgage space, is now at Citizens Bank, ready to help you with your real estate goals. Stop by and visit today, 902 Sisk Avenue, Suite E in Oxford. Discuss your options with Whit or one of their experienced bankers who values your unique financial journey, makes every moment uniquely yours. While you're there, make sure you ask about the School Spirit debit cards. They donate an amount per every transaction to the local school of your choice, whether it's Oxford, Lafayette, or Regents. That's the Citizens Bank, the Citizens Bank, PHILA.com.
We're also brought to you by our friends at Grenada Home Center. They've got paints by Benjamin Moore, Pittsburgh Paint, Farrell Calhoun, flooring of any and all types, stone countertops, whether you're looking for granite, quartz, or anything else. They've got window treatments from plantation shutters to whatever else suits your fancy. It's Grenada Home Center, 1301 Sunset Drive in Grenada. Call them at 662-226-3127. Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a fourth-generation jeweler. It's located at the old Lamons Jewelry Building, North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They pretty much offer everything you're looking for. Diamond engagement rings, jewelry repair, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, pearls, stones, diamond jewelry, more. It's great for gifts, obviously. Flexible bangles, diamond pendants, earrings. Christmas coming around the corner. You want to get ready at Arnett's. They're ready to help you. At Arnett's, they want to be your jeweler. Coming up this weekend for the Kentucky game, stop by the College Corner. It's on the Oxford Commons right off of Sisk Avenue. More than 4,000 square feet of the best Rebel gear. Plenty of parking. They'll have you in and out, ready for the Grove, ready for Vaught Hemingway in no time. You can also check them out. 2 locations in the Jackson area and at collegecornerstore.com. They've got a lot of the Realtree gear in as well.
Galaxy pattern.
It's all in at the College Corner. We're brought to you by Wonderbird Spirits. Chase was out there yesterday. It's Mississippi's only gin distillery. Wonderbird Spirits, located Old Taylor Road between Oxford and Taylor, just minutes from the square. They've got a newly expanded 7,500 square foot state-of-the-art distillery operation on 20 acres of magnificent Mississippi farmland. If you're looking for a game weekend rental, private parties, they can accommodate you. They've got a tasting room, grounds, bathrooms, a catering room on site as part of their packages. Learn more at wonderbirdspirits.com or at 662-205-0779. When you work with Argent Wealth's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory services team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. So call them today. They'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. Mention that you heard about them on BlueSky Live. You get 10% off your first year's fees. It's myargentwealth.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. John has been in the travel business for basically 4 decades. He knows the extra attention that's needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories. So give him some parameters, give him a budget, and let him give you some options And know this, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net.
Podcast is brought to you by Joss Neal Creamery, jossnealcreamery.com. They feed 10, 20, or 40 with tailgate packages, including for this weekend against Kentucky. It's an early game, so let them take care of you. Pick it up Friday or Saturday. That's from Chicory Market. That's where they're located now. You stop in, grab it Friday or Saturday, and you can order everything right there online. You can see all the options, including their charcuterie trays, their specialty trays, grazing, artisanal, sandwiches, crudité, house crackers, sorted desserts, and plenty more. Pepper jelly is a favorite. So again, that's johnsonhillcreamery.com for all your orders, or just stopping in and see what they have every single day. Again, tailgate packages available. That's johnsonhillcreamery.com. Yes, Bourbon South up this morning with Tom Alexander of Wonderbird, kind of a Wonderbird week a little bit. Went into the big time details on how gin and bourbon are done differently. Tried some different ones. Their new extra dry gin, their cask strength, which was in the Peerless and Blanton barrels to finish it off after it went through the gin process. And we also, one of the neat things for the show, if you're into this kind of thing, is we had the bottle of Peerless that literally came from that same barrel. So we're able to test the Peerless from the bourbon barrel and then the gin that also was resting in that same barrel before it came to production to see if it picked up any of the same hints and flavors and whatnot. And that's available now at Wonderbird, wonderbirdspirits.com. That was not one of the special offerings, even though we did have two straight from the barrel as well that are not yet released. So that on the show there this morning. And this morning in audio form, and I'll load the video version later today. I just simply did not have time to go in and edit some of the things this morning before we had to get going.
Gotcha.
That's your update
I'm
there.
a little jealous, but I didn't have time yesterday to go out.
We can probably make something work. We're actually going to test a couple on Henry's guys on Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have that. We have that. So that is one thing as well. And then you had a McCready and Siskey yesterday. I believe that's
yeah.
What
I
else
had
is
one yesterday and have another one today.
Okay. Was there a problem yesterday?
What do you mean?
I don't know. You said that with like trepidation, like we had it, but
no. It was yesterday. Was the football media thing started late and then ran late, and I was just slammed because I have to do. They don't transcribe Kiffin anymore. I have to transcribe it. So it was a day.
Is that transcription thing working?
It's okay.
Is it usable? Is it faster than you just transcribing?
It's faster, but you can't be dependent on it. You do have to go back and listen.
Yeah.
You can't just lean on it. Like it would be comical if you just
simply went here.
If you were lazy about it, it would be whoa. And you have to make sure that your recording device is up close. Like if I record from where I sit in that room, it doesn't really work. If it's up on the podium, it's much better. But you still have to kind of go back and listen.
They're going heavy on other sports media ops because Neal put in the stream. There's a basketball media op on Thursday. There's a baseball media op tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mike Bianco and Joel Mangrum available for baseball tomorrow. First time the new pitching coach has spoken to my knowledge, into anyone.
Yeah, I was like, when they said Thursday, I was like, is there any way we could do this on Wednesday? But it is what it is. No one's worried.
Did you ask?
No.
Just
you know me. I'm
just a quick ask.
I never do that.
Did you watch Jaden Daniels last night? It was really good.
I watched the first quarter or so. He was really good. Yeah.
38-33.
I'm not
Bengals
surprised.
in trouble.
Yeah, Bengals are in trouble. I'm not surprised Jaden Daniels is doing
as long
well.
as he stays healthy, he's good. It's just a matter of can he stay healthy. So small.
They're running a smart system with him. He's got an elite arm. He's such a charismatic kid. He's very smart. I hope he does really well. I think he's going to do well. They know they can't get him hit all the time, but that pretty much applies to most quarterbacks.
He does, and look, it only takes one. He does a good job of recognizing when to get down, how to sort of shield his body. He does the quarterback version of what I thought Dexter was always really good at back in the day.
Yeah.
Of sort of not ever taking full-on contact at one time, but let him kind of be this and that and whatever. I think they've done a nice job there with him, but they were The Commanders were fun last night. Like it was
Yeah.
a fun game.
Yeah.
And then Buffalo is just beating the hell out of people right now.
Well, Josh Allen's playing at a really high level.
He's the MVP through 3 weeks.
Yeah. It looks exceptional.
And the Jags do not look exceptional.
No, they look bad.
We got that one right. Didn't like the Jags going into the season. Felt like that sort of played out and passed. And I think we're completely there right now.
I didn't hate the 2 Monday night games. I told you I get to a point where on like 8:30, 9 o'clock on a Monday night, and I'm just tired.
It takes a lot for me to see the end of a Monday night game.
Yeah, I had no chance.
It better really be good.
I was asleep by halftime. Just knew I needed to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Just was like, this is intriguing. It's got a chance to be a good second half, but I was like, I'm done.
If you're curious about just sort of business around college football, an interesting story this morning, it's from the Sports Business Journal. I guess it came out yesterday, is South Carolina has a ton of land, I guess in Columbia would be the way that I would put it, the University of South Carolina.
Yeah.
It's 885 acres. And they put out an RFP, basically proposal to bid to build, if you will. Most of it is not adjacent to Williams-Brice, but they do have a little bit that is. Now, remember, at South Carolina, that is not on campus. It is out in the fairgrounds. It is not in a great area. It's in a weird area.
Yeah, it's not terribly far from campus,
Yeah.
but it's 3 miles maybe.
Yeah. But it's a pretty interesting story about they still can't really, nobody knows what to do with it because the university basically is saying, look, we're not taking any debt on here at all. We are not doing anything that's going to affect our balance sheet negatively, but we'd love for you guys to turn all this into stuff. You know, Tennessee's kind of done this around Neal where they tried to do the little entertainment district thing, and that's sort of the hope. But South Carolina's
Oklahoma's doing that around their stadium.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina's problem is that most of the land is even in a floodplain. Like they've got really weird stuff with a lot of the acres on this, and it's, could you just take this small thing and do this, but not the rest of it? And it's sort of in a holding pattern. They're not getting the proposals like they were anticipating off something that, in theory, if you could just mix and match it, would be really, really good. I think condos are what they're expecting around Williams-Brice. I think that is actually what they're hoping to do, is to build condos right around the stadium that you would have upscale condominiums.
Yeah.
Right,
it's kind of on that busy strip too. I don't know.
This is from SBJ. Of the 8 parcels, because it's divided into 8 parcels, F, G, and H are closest to Williams-Brice. 2 of those are just over 6 acres, while 1 is adjacent to the stadium's east side and a potentially lucrative spot for game day condos directly connected to the stadium's club seating level. So literally connected to a club seating platform at South Carolina Stadium. Their analysis determined game day condos would be supportable given the depth of Gamecock football's high net worth season ticket holders and supporters. I asked somebody at Ole Miss, and they agreed this felt really high, and maybe it's some of these SEC schools that are lucrative, but South Carolina's number being this high surprised me. Of South Carolina's season ticket holder base, roughly 40,000 people, 20.4% have a net worth greater than $2 million.
Wow.
That feels high. Now, again, I know nothing about any other school or what theirs would be, but had you said over or under 20%, I would have said under and not been that concerned with my answer.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about the dynamics of that.
They say 37.1% of their season ticket holders have net worths that could theoretically afford the condos. For comparison, at the Westgate residences across the street from Bryant-Denny in Alabama, the game day condos go for 10 times the median sales price of a home in Tuscaloosa.
Wow. I guess the question you would have would be, if you have people with that level of expendable income and you're asking them to basically buy a second home
right there,
how are you going to
tied to the stadium?
Why would they do that, or would they rather build a second home in Charleston or wherever? I don't know enough about the dynamics of their alumni base or anything.
Says retail around Williams-Brice would require careful planning to succeed because it's so sparsely populated with houses. Those who live in the area tend toward lower incomes, so destination retail like an REI or Bass Pro Shops would likely be needed to draw outside visitors to the area. A Gamecock's team store and museum could serve a similar purpose. And they're having this much problem with what's next door. The rest of it, they don't know what to do.
See, that's the thing. Like Williams-Brice, 7 days a year is awesome, right? But what is it? The other 300 and what is it? 50? My math's bad.
Well, it's
357 days.
It's Mississippi State's thing. You know, they built those lofts out at the outfield of Dudy Noble.
Yeah.
They're only available, and they're full apartments, condos. Like they're nice. They're really nice. Next time we have Corey on, he was at one for a baseball game. He can talk about it. They are only available on game days or special events on
So
campus.
You can't live there?
No.
Why?
No. They're only they're available to you almost like a suite. So they're only available on probably like graduation or like during whatever their version of double decker is. And that's a maybe. I don't even know that. Or game days. That's it. So you have an apartment connected to Dudy Noble that you have no access to outside of a certain number of days a year.
But why?
I'm sure it's probably some sort of zoning thing, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Because at first they were going to make them livable, and then something changed.
I just don't know. Be a hard sell, right? Yeah, you're going to invest in this apartment, but you can only access the apartment 20 days a year or 40 days a year, whatever the number is. Do people sleep in it on the weekends it's available? Can you stay there, or is it like a suite where it's open and closes? Because now you have to buy that and go get a hotel room. Come on.
I think you can stay there, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I'm sure someone can tell us.
It's interesting. Austin, thank you for the super chat earlier. He says, did Memphis and Tulane make the right decision turning down the new Pac-12 to stay in the American? What league are they both in 5 years from now? My answer was, I just don't know enough about the internal dynamics of either one of those programs. I just don't know. I don't have a read on that. We can ask Jeffrey about it on Thursday with Memphis. I don't know anybody at Tulane.
What happened was that they did their own analysis. I was reading a little bit about this morning with some New Orleans media people. Is the Pac, whatever the hell we're calling it, Pac-12 for ease of use.
I mean, I think it technically is called the Pac-12.
Okay. The Pac-12 was promising a rights deal of at least $12 million a year.
Okay.
I think they're currently getting 9 from the American. At least 12 with the analysis that the Pac-12 offered these programs.
Okay.
What happened was that they started talking to outside analysts themselves, as you would.
Sure.
And those outside analysts said, no, we don't think anyone in your league, including Washington State and Oregon State, have the level of value to get you there. So you're going to pay all these exit fees. The conference is not willing to 100% pay all your exit fees. And there is no guarantee that you're getting a sizable increase in annual revenue to offset that. So if you do this,
you're adding a tremendous level of travel.
You are taking a financial risk that could play out, but our analysis is not indicating it's an automatic yes. So they all re-upped with the American, and Utah State went to the Pac-12.
Yeah, risk reward.
Yeah, there's a world, but it was not a certainty by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I can see that. And then the whole what league is anybody in 9 years from now? I have no idea. I mean, I couldn't begin to guess.
There might only be 2. Who knows? Yeah, I thought I had something on that. I was trying to look for it a second ago.
Tennessee's building condos next to Neyland.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's all unrecognizable right now. And getting more unrecognizable by the day.
I can't.
Can't what?
I've been to Tennessee a bunch of times, but I've not paid enough attention to the area that's right around Neyland to know like what that would replace, or is that campus buildings, or I don't know how that would all work. I'm guilty in Knoxville of getting to the hotel, driving to the media parking, walking to the stadium, exiting and leaving. No insult to Tennessee, just that's kind of what you do. Caroline wanted to look at Tennessee really hard, but it was COVID stuff, and it wouldn't have been safe. She could have died, so there was no tours.
Yeah. Yeah, it says here, I found the link. It said, consultant said that Memphis is not valued by TV rights holders significantly more than, say, Utah State, and Oregon State and Washington State, the two original Pac-12 leftovers who decided to bring the conference back, aren't valued much more than Memphis. In other words, the new Pac-12 was not going to be a power conference no matter what, which of the potential members jumped in. And the notion of a $12 million per member payday, which had been the carrot for a school like Memphis, currently making 8 to 9 in the AAC, was merely theoretical and based on calculations from the Pac-12's paid consultants that few people across the college sports industry actually believed.
Yeah. I mean, I would think long-range decision-making right now in college athletics is really hard because there's no exactness to it. You don't know.
Said when Memphis wanted its substantial AAC exit fees paid by the Pac-12, the new league looked at the math and decided it wouldn't be good business to subsidize a potential $20 million move with a school that wasn't going to actually add much more to its bottom line.
Yeah.
Said Memphis engaged in the Big East last week to explore the possibility of joining in basketball and other sports, while the Pac-12 would be football only. But given the quick time frame, concerns about fit from the Big East side, the league is all private Catholic schools except UConn, and the lack of certainty about Pac-12 money, Memphis had little choice but to recommit to the AAC for now. Makes sense. Nothing about that seems odd to me.
Safe.
Yeah. Well, and again, the timetable is just so fast that you're stuck in some ways on what you're even able to do at that point. Yeah, that's a good point. Cabins in Neshoba County are like that. Yeah, you own something, but the access is very limited.
Yeah, I've never been there.
It's, I think Duty Noble. I think you're overnight, but again, I don't know.
Feels weird that you would ask people to pay for it on the weekends, like when they have a baseball series, and they're like, "But you can't stay there."
Yeah, and you probably.
It just feels strange, but okay.
I have never been in a loft at Duty Noble. I have not had the pleasure.
I have never been in Duty Noble.
Even the old one?
I don't know that I ever went to
Really?
the old one.
Really?
I've told people this, even in my time in Mobile and stuff. I just never
had baseball.
I never had many connections at Mississippi State at all, even though I covered them some. Just never really. I never really spent any time there. It was weird. I don't know. It wasn't intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like I developed far more connections at like LSU than I did, State.
Now you were in Baton Rouge more than Starkville.
I was in Baton Rouge a lot.
Yeah. All right. Tell you quickly about NE Spark, fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available. Whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends, offers both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabytes. To learn more, register for service. Visit nespark.com. That's NeSpark. Get connected. Stay local.
Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself at corinthdental.com. If you're what he said, what he meant is up from last night. That's brought to you by Andy Ludicky, myperfectfranchise.net. Andy owns multiple businesses and franchises. He uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy. Put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. You've got nothing to lose. It's myperfectfranchise.net, Andy at myperfectfranchise.net, or 404-973-9901. Have a mailbag to you tomorrow. It's brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. Art Hayes can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask him how. 612-805-5929 or email art at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com. Well, if picks up to you on Thursday, they're brought to you by Kaiser Flooring. They have locations in Oxford and Batesville. Kaiser provides outstanding quality flooring products and installation services to residential and commercial properties. They carry the best in hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and tile flooring, as well as carpeting. They install your flooring quickly. They deliver the best flooring experience possible. Get in touch with them today. You can call them in Oxford or Batesville, or you can get in touch with them online at kaiserflooring.com. I'll be taping with Pete DeWeese tonight. Bring that to you on Thursday. It's Pete's Pigskin Preview. We'll take a look at the Kentucky Wildcats. That's brought to you by Meadowbrook Wealth Advisors of Raymond James. It's a full-service investment team based in Jackson, providing financial planning and investment management to clients across the state and surrounding areas. Ryan Geary and his partners are a local team that utilize the strength and resources of a national firm to bring their clients an impeccable level of service. This includes access to investment strategies, portfolio managers, not available to all investors. So get in touch with them at 601-368-2215 or ryan.geary@raymondjames.com. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area and offer medicine for your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery. You have everything you need when you need it with G&M. Also, transferring your medications has never been easier because all you do is make one phone call. They take care of the rest. So that is in Tyson. That's with Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or G&M in Oxford. That's 662-236-2222. I was trying to pull up regular season grades for Major League Baseball teams, but I'm having an issue because I'm not getting the code for me to log into ESPN. So I don't know. It's not working at the moment. That's fine. Can come up with something else. It says it has my email and sends it sending a one-time code to log in. But
is it at ESPN.com?
Well, it's a ESPN Plus article, and I don't have Plus. I mean, I have Plus, but I'm not logged in, and for some reason, it is not logged in.
I have Plus. Let's see, from A to A's to an F minus.
Well, I have a hunch who that one is.
Yeah, I feel confident that I know.
I kind of miss the White Sox in a way.
Let me lock in. Let's see. Log in. ESPN, man. It's just
locked on down, babe.
I mean, I give them credit. But, Lord, it never even remembers anybody. All right, I got it. Milwaukee got an A. The Guardians got an A. Royals got an A minus. Phillies A minus. The Yankees a B plus. Let me stop me when you want to talk about one. Padres B plus. Tigers B plus.
Tigers were really interesting this season. That was a fun team to follow. Central was really fun outside of the White Sox.
Yeah, it says on August 12th, the Tigers were 6 games under 500, 11.5 behind the Twins. Their late season surge suddenly has them looking like a wild card team, especially since they finished the regular season at home against the hapless White Sox. Pitching's been outstanding. Hasn't just been Tariq Skubal, who's going to win the AL Cy Young Award. Manager A.J. Hinch, who's really good, by the way, has done a masterful job of using openers, and guys like Tyler Holton and Brant Herter have been huge. Remember, the Tigers have done this without Jack Flaherty, who had a 2.95 ERA with them, but was traded away at the deadline.
Oh, yeah.
The Mets, D-backs, Astros all get Bs. The Orioles get a B minus.
What'd they end up? What'd the Orioles end up? What is their situation?
They're going to make the playoffs, it says. I'll pull up there.
Okay. I've got it right here. They are 6 back of the Yankees in the East.
Okay, yep. Baltimore is 86-70 with 6 games left. 6 games back. They are
now they have the 3rd best record in the AL.
They're the lead wild card team.
Yes.
They're 4 up in the wild card. Detroit, Kansas City are tied. Minnesota's 1 back. Seattle 1.5 back. Orioles get a B minus. The Twins get a C plus. I guess they underachieved. The Dodgers get a C. What were they?
93 and 63. A C.
I mean,
that's a tough crowd, isn't it?
That's a tough grade. You expected.
They have the best record in the National League. I guess you expected 104 wins,
I
but
guess. I disagree with that grade. Pittsburgh gets a C. I disagree with that. I thought they were kind of a fun young team for a while. Nationals get a C. A's get a C. The Braves, your Braves get a C.
I just don't know what you make of them because there's so many injuries. It's hard to punish them, but they clearly underachieved.
This says using injuries as an excuse is generally pretty lame, but the Braves lost not only the reigning MVP and Ronald Acuna Jr. for most of the season, but the Cy Young favorite and Spencer Strider. Throw in significant missed time for Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, and Michael Harris the second, and that's a lot to overcome. Yeah. Red Sox, Mariners get a C. Cardinals get a C minus. Look, if you're going to give them a C minus, fail them. I mean, just, come on. You're the St. Louis Cardinals. You're the best fans in baseball.
79-77 is a failure in St. Louis.
The Cardinals were who we thought they were, a 500-ish team before the season. It seemed clear they needed bounce-back seasons from Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado to boost the offense. That didn't happen, and the Cardinals will finish middle of the pack in the NL in runs. They got mostly what you would have expected from free agent starters Sonny Gray, Kyle Gibson, and Lance Lynn. Some durability for a rotation that needed it, but it wasn't enough.
Okay.
Tampa Bay gets a C minus. The Cubs get a C minus. Let's see what they say about the little Cubbies. Quick question. Who's the best player on the Cubs? Cody Bellinger, Shota Imanaga, Dansby Swanson, Justin Steele, Seiya Suzuki. By WAR for the 2024 season, it's Ian Happ. The Cubs have a group of good, solid players. What they need is a star. Yeah, no shit. Or two. With Swanson, Nico Horner, and Pete Crow Armstrong, they have three superior defenders up the middle. And while that's a good thing to have, none of the three are middle of the order hitters. What they need is a big bat. You think? Will they throw a big bundle of cash at Juan Soto to lure him to Wrigley? I'll answer that. No. The Reds get a D+. I agree there. The Reds were disappointing. The Giants get a D, predictable. Toronto gets a D. The Rangers get a D-. The Rockies get a D-.
Rangers a D- after the World Series.
Yep. Says, I considered giving them an F as defending World Series champions who will finish under 500. Certainly a disappointing defense of their title, but they weren't quite bad enough to earn that grade. The Rangers were in first place in mid-May, but then things fell apart quickly. By June 18th, they were 10 games out of first and never really got back into it. They did depend on some old arms, man. Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom. Colorado a D-. The Marlins an F. The Angels an F. If you haven't read the Mike Trout piece in The Athletic, I recommend it.
Yeah.
Sad. And he's so stuck.
Still has 6 years and $200 million left.
$216 million in 6 years. If the Angels had a heart, they would eat some of that and trade him someplace. Let him experience something good.
That'll happen.
The Chicago White Sox, F minus.
F minus.
They gave them 4 minuses. He goes, well, you knew this was coming. Not much was expected of the White Sox, of course. Even their own executives didn't expect much and even anticipated a 100-loss season. But this, the most losses in modern baseball history, more losses than the 1962 Mets. It was ugly. It was embarrassing, and it was grisly with separate losing streaks of 12, 14, and 21 games. They went from June 30th to September 14th without winning 2 games in a row. There's no rose you can put on this season, okay, other than Garrett Crochet's surprising breakout as a starter. Of course, now we'll see if he gets traded in the offseason.
Speaking of athletic stories, the last couple of weeks, that profile on just exactly what was going on with them and then Reinsdorf. Did you read this?
Yeah. Brutal.
They spoke to 40 current and former White Sox employees in baseball about the larger issues around Reinsdorf. And like their lead was something along the lines of there's probably not a bigger baseball fan among owners, yet he's a baseball fan of 1992 baseball.
Yeah.
And runs it as so.
The game has changed.
Yes.
It's like one of the questions in my mailbag this week is about Kiffin, and the answer is he's adaptable. He's flexible. He doesn't get credit for those things because the media is so obsessed with his TikTok. And by the way, the TikTok with his daughter is genius.
It's really good.
It just shows a side of him that I don't think he would be comfortable with that side of him in the flesh. And so allowing it to get out in that social media circle shows it was a relatable side to him. But he's adaptable. He's pliable. I think he learned that from Saban. It's Nick Saban's greatest trait is that he adapted. Frankly, it's what Freeze can't do. Not to keep beating up on that, but it's what he can't do, won't do. And, I think Kiffin's really good at that. Changing with the times. Adapting to rules changes. Even rules changes that I think he knows are probably not great for the game. The ability to be willing to say that hey, if you're looking at this from a big picture, what's in the best interest of the sport?
Yeah,
I don't think this is in the best interest of the sport, but we use it
because we have no choice
and use it extremely well.
Yeah. So, all right. Other stuff coming to you. Neal said there's McCready and Siskey later today. Plenty of podcast stuff at rebelgrove.com and leading toward Ole Miss and Kentucky, 11 o'clock a.m., 11 a.m., 11, Saturday morning from Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Wildcats and the Rebels. It's a stripe out. So if you're coming to the game, see what section you're in. That dictates your choice of clothing for that event on Saturday. So everything leading up to that, plenty of coverage and podcasts the rest of the week. Take care, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.